As we go around the country for you this morning, let's go to President Jacob Zuma's hometown. Zuma is set to cast his vote in Nkandla at 10 o'clock this morning. Dasen Thathiah is there for us this morning. Dasen, a very good morning to you. Now, one would imagine when you think of a voting station in Nkandla that it's right outside the walls of the President's house. Where exactly are you? Where is this voting station?
That's right, Yuveka. In fact, I think many people know Nkandla to be just where the President's house is, but in fact, that's not true at all. In fact, where we are now is the Intel 1A primary school, which is about 1 kilometer or two away from the President's homestead. In fact, his homestead is up the road behind us at the moment, but the Nkandla town itself is still about 45 minutes away. So you can imagine that this is just one of the many polling stations in this area, just serving the people in and around President Jacob Zuma's home.
Already seeing people behind you. Are they in a queue waiting to vote in just a couple of minutes? Well, it's already in about 40 minutes or so?
That's right. In fact, the people that you see behind me, some of them have left home at about 3 a.m. this morning, trying to get here by about 4. And the people that we've spoken to there say that they wanted to do it just so that they could get in and out, because I imagine that it's going to get quite busy later on. And in fact, also some of the locals will be coming through to see the president voting, as you mentioned, at about 10 a.m. this morning.
So what's the feeling on the ground, Dasen? I mean, you've been there now for a couple of hours. What's the feeling on the ground? Because we hear that, you know, there's all this richness, all this opulence in Nkandla itself, the President's house, and then there's all this poverty outside. Do we know what emotions, what people are feeling as they head to make their mark today, whether that has irked them at all this morning?
Yuveka, we've been speaking to the community since yesterday. In fact, we spent some time with them in the afternoon yesterday, and we've spoken to the few people that are here this morning as well. And it seems like housing is top of mind for most of them. Just to give you an idea of where we are and what we're surrounded by, in fact, there are a lot of rural houses here. Many of the people are living in mud huts as well, and they want housing. They want proper brick structures. They want RDP houses, and that for me is what I've been hearing them talk about. But apart from that, they say that there is also development here. There have been improvements to the roads. There's water and electricity in some parts, not all yet, but definitely they're hoping to see improvements on the housing side.
Now, at the time of the Nkandla scandal, and it's not quite over yet, you know, there were reports that the people of Nkandla weren't as fazed as the rest of the country about the President's home and the opulence of his home.
You can imagine that many would empathize with one of their own, as it were. And that still seems to be the case here. In fact, by and large, the people that we've spoken to aren't complaining as much as we've seen in other parts of the province leading up to the elections. In fact, like I mentioned, a lot of them speak quite highly of the development that has taken place here. In fact, there are some of the facilities that that other rural areas don't necessarily have. Although while we were talking to some of those people, there were others that told us that the issue with the roads, for example, is that the new roads and the new development of the tarred roads here doesn't extend much further than the President's home, and that for them is a problem, and they're hoping that that is something that will change after the elections.
All right. Well, yes, we'll have to wait and see what happens after this election. Thanks very much. That's Dasen Thathiah. He's at Nkandla. That's the President's hometown, and that's where he'll be voting at around 10 o'clock this morning, and we will keep track of what happens there. And, of course, security will be tight in Nkandla, and it will be across KwaZulu-NATAL as well. And there's been some political infighting. There have been some instability in the province ahead of Election Day.